my pleasure to welcome you and to welcome you to KwanPa. And this event is in association with AOTH Highlight, and it's part of our Music That Matters series. It's actually the second event in our Music That Matters series. So without further ado, please welcome KwanPa.
All right, thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, the name of the band once again is KwanPa. KwanPa, which simply means the right path. The right path. KwanPa, the right path. And we do a special kind of indigenous Ghanaian music called palm wine music. Palm wine music. In Twi we say Sega Senyum, palm wine music. The first song we are going to do for you is an original song by Ejako Nimo, a mentor of this band. And he calls the song Jaminapui. The song emphasizes the importance of people in our lives. Ejako Nimo says we should learn to acknowledge the people in our lives before they leave. So we present to you the first song originally composed for palm wine music and as palm wine music, Jaminapui by Ejako Nimo. We are going to take the song again. When we get to this part that says Wayaya, we are going. We would like to do the song with you. Very simple. Wayaya. Let's take it the song again. Listen. We are going. Heaven knows where we are going. We know we will. We will get there. Heaven knows how we will get there. We know we will. It will be hard. It will be hard, we know. And the road will be rough, but we'll get
when did you meet and when did this idea come to life?
Okay, so it was in 2017. 2017. It was a Sunday, and then we, at the time, we're all instrumentalists in the same church. That is the Presbyterian Church of Ghana, Ebenezer Congregation, Mamprobi. Yes, so he is a church guitarist, bass guitarist. We have the percussions and all that, and I was doing guitars and keyboards in church. So one day after service, we talked that apart from playing in church, let's do something else with the talents we have, and we decided to come together to form a group and to play. Now, on July 31, 2017, it was a Monday, in the evening around 6:30 p.m., we had our first meeting, and we did the first song and realized that it could work. Before that, we had discussed that we're going to do something different from the regular music everybody was doing. So we decided to choose palm wine music. Yes, and so after the first meeting on that July 31, the Monday, we realized it could work. So that was when we actually started. We started with rehearsals every Monday, and we remained indoors for like 3 months. No gig, nothing. We're just learning songs and playing, rehearsing and all that, until eventually we launched out and we started doing that. So it's actually 2017, July.
So it's 2021 makes it 4 years?
Yes, so July 31 will be
4 years.
Yes.
If you could just tell us what you were doing before you decided to make this a career,
okay,
aside playing in the church.
Okay, okay. So I was, I was in school. I was originally in Care University. I did a first degree in painting and sculpture in 2004. And then I finished, I went on to do a master's degree in marketing, MBA marketing. And then I left, I went and did a diploma in education again. And then I left. And then I went to work. And then I went to work. So I worked for 4 years as a human resource manager in an institution. And then I worked there for 4 years. And after 4 years, I left. And I went back to school, University of Ghana, School of Performing Arts, to do a first degree in music. So, so it was when I was there, when I was in the University of Ghana, that all these things started. I think I was in my second year when the whole idea started. And so that was what I was doing. I basically left my human resource job after 4 years. I went to school and then we started this. So I was schooling and doing this. Now the band started as a group of 5. One had to leave us because of his work schedule. He was a designer, interior designer, and his work could not allow him to continue. So after our first gig with him, he left, and we were 4. Now again, there was another reshuffle or replacement with one of us. There was a guy who played the bell and the shakery, and then he also had to leave because of a few things which he had to take care of. And then he came back. We're all doing our different things like businesses, photography, merchandise, selling, and a few others. And then we came together. But we met in church. We did not know ourselves. I didn't know any of my guys until I went to the church. And then as instrumentalists, I saw, we met and then we talked. Yes.
You are very particular about the kind of music you do. While you were performing, you gave us a little about the music.
Yes.
But if you could go into detail for us, what is palm wine music and what makes it high life? Okay.
So in art, there's something we call art for art's sake. And then there's something we call utilitarian art. In music, with what we do with palm wine music, I don't think it is just music for music's sake, if I could put it that way. It started as a conversation. People will meet like this. After they had the day's work, we'll all meet. Most of the time there were 2 places, either at the palm wine joint or at the village square or the town square. People will meet and then they will talk about how the day went. So once we gather, we talk. And as the discussions go on, somebody will spontaneously bring a song, and then everybody at the gathering will join and they will sing the song. But the song must always be in relation to the topic being discussed. So it's more like to buttress the discussion, to emphasize, to put emphasis on the discussion. And I'll give you an example. For instance, in this COVID-19 pandemic, everybody is talking about COVID-19, and all that. So I will not be surprised if this happened probably in the 14th century or 13th century, we could possibly be gathered at the palm wine joint like this, talking about the pandemic, talking about diseases. Somebody can do this. So we are the palm wine joint, 14th century. Corona has come. We are talking about diseases. We can do this. Ya no mi yare yo, yare ya, yare ya say. Indeed, yare ya. So yare, we can say in tree, disease or sickness, yare. Yare yo, yare yo, yare ya, every year, yare ya say. And ladies and gentlemen, this will be a song to put emphasis on the fact that we're in a pandemic and we are in a difficult time. So it will not be out of place if in the course of the discussion this song comes up. But for instance, we are talking about this and then somebody does a song like So palm wine music is basically a song which springs up spontaneously to put emphasis on a discussion. That was how it started, but of course it has gone through lots of changes, and so now we, even when it comes to the instruments that we are performing with, it has changed a lot. The very first recording of palm wine music, they used 2 guitars and then a chest, a wooden chest. We call it adaka, and that was by the Kumasi Trio in 1928. But from that ensemble, if you look at what we are doing now in 2021, it has changed. We still have maintained the guitar, but I guess the adaka has been replaced with the gome, and then all these are additions. So it has gone through lots of changes. Basically, that is how palm wine music started and its evolution.
I get a lot of philosophical sense to palm wine music because, I mean, if it's a reflective music where people have to, it comes spontaneously. I believe that sometimes we are lost for words and then you just find yourself singing.
It has a lot to do with even what happens in the home, just as you gave the example. Now, in terms of our culture and the music, for instance, those times in the palm wine joints, at the palm wine joints when these things are going on, we did not deliberately have instruments. Somebody come with a drum, somebody come with a guitar, somebody come with any other thing, and then they set up and they say we are doing music. No, it was like grab what you can and let's make music. So if it's a piece of wood you find around, you can join. If it's the bottle or the calabash or whatever, you just grab it. If you can just snap your finger, you can just do that. It highlights the spontaneity, which is kind of part of our culture in terms of a lot of areas. And later on I will explain some of these things. But yes, palm wine music, you know, it existed before high life music. High life will be a late 19th, early 20th century creation kind of but of course it influenced high life music. When you talk about our culture, you will definitely talk about our music. And when you talk about our music, you talk about high life. And when you talk about high life, you cannot take out palm wine music because it influenced palm high life music in a way. So there are lots of things in terms of expression, expressing your emotions, expressing your ideas, all these things. They are part of our culture, and these things happen at the palm wine joints or where we meet for these things. Ladies and gentlemen, we present to you Culinary Battle. Enjoy this. Siva, gengereba, Siva, gengereba. Listen. I want to see you tonight, baby, yeah. I want you back. I want to see you tonight, baby, yeah. I want you back. I want to see you tonight, baby, yeah. I want you back. I want to see you tonight, baby, yeah. I want you back. I'm on the battlefield, baby, oh. It looks like I am joking, baby, yeah. I want you back. I'm on the battlefield, baby, oh. It looks like I am joking, baby, yeah. I want you back. Culinary battle, it's not an easy battle. Me just say, Ebiane won't talk and yet I won't go so. Culinary battle, it's not an easy battle. Me just say, Ebiane won't talk and yet better. Baby, come back now. Before I burn your kitchen, baby, come back now. Before I blow your kitchen, come back now. Before I burn your kitchen, baby, come back now. Before I blow your kitchen, I'm on the battlefield, baby, oh. It looks like I am joking, baby, yeah. I want you back. I'm on the battlefield, baby, oh. It looks like I am losing, baby, yeah. I want you back. We're trying to make a statement that we think that the Ghanaian past, there are a lot of good things in the Ghanaian past which we are putting aside, which we are neglecting, and if we are not careful, we'll lose some of these things. There's a special music tradition called Ataha. There is another one called Konkoma. There's another one called Osibi. Who is a Fanti here? Do you have any Fanti? Okay, Fanti. Have you ever heard anything Osibi? But Osibi is Fanti music. It's actually Fanti recreational music. It usually happens at the seaside, and then it is part of our music tradition. But we are losing touch of all these things. So we decided that let's at least pick some of these things we are losing and try to revive them. Let's try to create awareness. Let people be aware that these things are part of our culture. They are part of us as Ghanaians. They are part of our identity before we lose them. We have already lost a number of them. And so we decided at the time we started, Ejako Nimo and his band, Adademagofuma, and then the Legon Palm Wine Band. They were the two main groups that were performing palm wine music. Now, Legon Palm Wine Band, at the time, they were more like students at the University of Ghana, the music department. And so, of course, because they are students, they'll be, to a great extent, restricted in terms of performances, in terms of pushing the agenda and all that. Of course, now that it's a group on its own, and so now they are really also very vibrant in palm wine music. Ejako Onimo is 80, in his mid-80s, and so he's not too active in performances. So we decided that let's pick palm wine music and try to join in its renaissance. Let's just keep it. Let's join in the continuity of this music tradition so we don't lose it. So we picked palm wine music to carry it on. We also have decided that apart from music, something like storytelling, we want to be a part of bringing it back actively, because we realize that, I don't know, those of us here, I'm not too sure the last time you told your nephew, your son, your daughter an ancestor, or when your mom, your dad, your auntie, your grandmother told you an ancestor. I don't remember. But I think some of these things are imbued with great stuff, great values. So we will eventually do some of these things also. So KwanPa, we are just going back to bring some of the good things in our past and showcase them to create the awareness. That's why we chose palm wine music, just to keep this going so we don't lose it. Gojoba, 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 missy madam pe. Aye, adam po say what? Masakwa meme namo, oh missy madam pe. Aye, adam po ebe, engo bisiye, dieru se wa wa wa. mami kompode. Me koda down po imio. Aye adam po imio. Enko bisi dieru si wa. Ewarabo jame kwai mami kompode. Me koda down po imio. Aye adam po imio. Every year KwanPa enko bisi dieru si wa. Ewarabo jame kwai mami kompode. Me koda down po imio. Aye adam po imio.
This modern political climate, what is it that you guys think you can do to change that perception around sex and gender roles and social conventions in that regard? Yeah, that's my question.
In fact, the second time we performed this song at the Zen Garden, where we perform every Tuesday, somebody raised that concern that we are trying to be a bit, we are overgeneralizing and we are stereotyping. It is true. Some of these things we may not be able to take them out totally from our music, but we can work on some of these things. If you look at lyrics, it is very, very, very important when it comes to palm wine music. It is extremely important. For instance, the very first song we did, the very first one we did, we said in the verse, we said something like, Menam Jumase, Juma eyi baya bome, asase ajemetata. Do you know what that means? Anybody? Any idea? Me kwa menam Jumase, me ba menam Jumase, Juma eyi baya bome, asase ajemetata. That is tree. All right, let me explain this to you. So this talks about the vulnerability of man. Juma eyi baya abome. It's a tree. And then one of the branches fell on me. I walked past the tree and I went. And when I was coming, I walked under the branch or the branches of the tree. So when I was walking, the branches were there, nothing happened. When I was coming, one of the branches fell on me. And asasia jemetata, the earth has welcomed me. In other words, I'm gone. So it's talking about the vulnerability of man. Anything could happen at any time. It means the onus lies on us as musicians to pay particular attention to lyrics and presentation of the lyrics. With what you said, we may this is communication, encoding, decoding. In the process of the whole encoding, pushing it, decoding, the noise, the feedback, and the noise and all that, a lot of things would happen. So it means, for me, what I gather from all this is that we must pay particular attention to the lyrics from our music. And so we will usually, just as I said earlier, we have a lot of themes, from very light themes to to very serious themes in our compositions. And that is what we must really take serious.
What's the relevance between the music and social commentary? So on the one hand, the music is born out of situations.
Yes.
But long term, is it about social commentary? So that years later I look back at your music and you were commenting on something at a particular time? One question.
Okay.
Second question, you said the drum came from the Caribbean.
Yes.
I'd be really interested in finding out what that history is. My family from Jamaica.
Oh, okay.
And so, and I know the Presbyterian Church
yes.
was developed by Jamaicans in Mbari.
Okay.
There's a long history of Jamaicans in Mbari. So I'm interested, please.
Yes. So with your second question first, Professor John Collins has a book he has titled High Lifetime 3. And in his book, he makes reference to the fact that you can actually trace this drum through Sierra Leone to the Caribbean. And in all these places, the name remains the same. As in, sometimes it's just a letter added, like we call it Gome, others will call it Gumbe. But it's basically the same thing, or a similar frame drum. It may be smaller or bigger or shorter in a way, but it's still the same thing. So I'm sure in his book he can he has explained some of these things further. But from that book, High Lifetime 3 by Professor John Collins, he states it emphatically that you can trace it through Sierra Leone to the Caribbean, this drum. And it's the spelling will now differ. We say Gome, G-O-M-E, but same drum, G-U-M-E, G-U-M-B-E-Y. Gumbe, Gume, Gome, referring to the same drum in different parts of Africa to the Caribbean. Yes. So, I mean, once you get that book, you can, yeah. And then with the social, yes, the commenting on social issues at the time, so that in the future you look back and realize that, yes, this happened, that happened. For instance, when you look at E.T. Mensah, E.T. Mensah did a lot of that, especially around Ghana's independence, Ghana's freedom and all that. So even if you didn't, for instance, he has a song titled Ghana, Guinea, Mali. And that is by E.T. Mensah at the time, exactly. And you may never have known anything about Ghana, Guinea, Mali, but once you listen to his music, at least you have an idea. He says the nucleus of our whatever and all that. So it tells a lot about our relationship at the time. For instance, E.T. Mensah talks about freedom. He has a song titled Freedom. Ghana, land of freedom. Ghana, we now have freedom, and all that. So yes, palm wine music similarly, yes. But I think it works both ways. For us as a band, we comment on these issues in our music, and then we also do music which may cut across. We decided that we will make people love it. Whether you like it or not, we'll make you love it. And this is what we'll do. We will take the music you love already, and then we'll put that on our palm wine rhythm and give that back to you. So as you enjoy your music, you still enjoy our music. And then we later on give you what we want to give you. And that is why we'll select your popular musicians, songs from your popular musicians, those you love. And then we will do the songs on palm wine rhythms and still do them for you. So I'm specially dedicating this song to all the ladies in the house. Don't worry, gentlemen, you get yours. They say ladies first, right? Enjoy this. City bar. If you know the song, let's do it together. 1, 2. I stop police for your case, oh. I go to war for your case, oh. I go to court for your case, oh. I climb a bridge for your case, oh. I point the judge for your case, oh. Enter water for your case, oh. I point the judge for your case, oh. Anything you want, baby, for your case, you. Le, 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 le. For your case, you. For your case, you. Le, 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 le. For your case, you. 'Cause my papa don't be down, go there. Oh, one day, but we go there, okay. Oh, my papa don't be down, go there. Oh, one day, but we go there, okay. I go show you for your case. I go slap a quero for your case. I go call MC all the woman. I go report all of them. I go show you for your case. I go slap a quero for your case. I go call MC all the woman. I go report all of them. For your case, you. For your case, you. For your case, you. For your case, you. 'Cause my papa don't be down, go there. Oh, one day, but we go there, okay. 'Cause my papa don't be down, go there. Oh, one day, but we go there, okay. We try to make our performances very interactive so that we want you to feel KwanPa performing. So most of the time in our performances, we have a number of places we perform during the week and then the weekends also. In our performances, we make sure we celebrate people. We do songs for people deliberately. We get the names of people. We do songs for you. We make you feel like, yeah, you are part of the thing. So that when you go, you feel at you feel it and you say, oh yeah, they did a song for me. Oh, at least, let me hear what they have to say.
It's Wednesday, Obiaraya on Wednesday, I'll go to Asari. Obiaraya on Wednesday, I'll go to Asari. Obiaraya on Friday, I'll go to Asari. Obiaraya on Friday, I'll go to Asari. La 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 la. Friday, do your dance, do your dance, do your dance, do your dance, do your dance. Shake it, give again, is again, give again, is again.
We are going to do this together. Watch them. We are going to do a few of the songs they know. Okay, Tiwi. Listen to this. Singiriba, Aba, Singiriba. Seniwa de dende, Seniwa de dende, Seniwa de dende, Seniwa pete pete, Seniwa de dende. Pete pete, Seniwa de dende, Seniwa enafirewo, Seniwa de dende, Seniwa osemi meyende, Seniwa de dende, Seniwa osemi medidi, Seniwa de dende, Seniwa internet banana, Seniwa. Do your dance, do your dance. Ever, 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 Seniwa de dende, Seniwa de dende. Woo! Seniwa, ever, 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 Seniwa de de, Seniwa de de, Seniwa de de. Every year, ever, 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 Seniwa de de, Seniwa de de, Seniwa de de, Seniwa. A round of applause for The coast, there was a kind of music called Osibi Saba music, which emanated from the coast. And then it was basically recreational music. It's from the Osibi music and dance, which is actually, it's basically wrestling, but of course recreation. So you wrestle, and then in the course of if anybody has ever watched this movie, Love Brewed in the African Pot, you will see a set of Osibi in that movie, when they were doing that recreation, that music and dance at the seaside. That's so that is where I will say it started with the introduction of the guitar and all that, and then later on it percolated hinterlands towards the Ashanti and all that going inwards. But the Ashantis were already doing something we call Odon song, Akam blues, and so the Odon song meeting the Osibisa and all that, they all contributed to that. So I would say, if you look at the whole thing, palm wine music, the coast had an influence, a strong influence on palm wine music, and then it moved hinterlands. And then the same Osibi Saba music turning into a meeting or dance and all that. The Konkoma music, it was when percussions, a lot of percussions were added to these styles. If you really trace it, you realize that even Bobobo from the Volta region is actually Konkoma, which also has a relation to Adaha music and Osibi Saba music. So all these traditions in a way have a relation. Yes, so that is what I would say about its movement and all that. I think the coast had a lot of influence on that, and then it moved hinterlands here.
Yeah. Okay, that's it. I love what you said about preserving the heritage in regards to the music. I was just wondering, would you, in preserving the heritage, consider offering workshops for children to continue the legacy that you started?
Yes, we get it a lot. I think it's something we should consider, because it has come up a number of times. People have actually asked us. Well, I remember we did a performance for National Commission on NCC. Which one is that? Thank you. We did a performance for them, and then the commissioner was like, "Oh, can we train some children or some people, or have some workshops or conferences for people?" So I think it has come up once too many times, and so it's something I think we should consider. We will do that, because it's part of us, even if it means having groups of like this at the lower level to kind of just experiment with this kind of music, I think it will work out well. So yes, it's good. We'll consider that.
Our cultural music is very specific. I know that there's some music that women can't play. There's some instruments women can't play. Are women generally allowed to do palm wine music? And do we have any, if you know of?
Women, I think, are allowed to do palm wine music. The only thing is that, you know, in the Ashanti culture, a lot of the ladies will rather prefer to do a nyom other than any of these. And then there's another one, the one they play with the god. I just forgot the name, but there's another one which actually is for females. That one is for the females. But in my opinion, I think we all ladies can do that. As a matter of fact, I have had a few calls from some ladies who expressed interest in. They were saying that they also want to form an all-female palm wine band, which I think will not be bad, right? So we are still talking with them to see how we can make things work. But they also want to try an all-female band to do palm wine music, which I think would really be good. So we will urge them on. And fortunately for us too, as we started our palm wine music, we are in the 4th year, but we've had at least about 80 people who have sent messages or called and expressed interest in joining our band. They want to join the band. So we are still thinking that we may have an audition later and put some of these people who are really interested, put them together and form other palm wine bands and try to help them also and groom them and do performances. Because sometimes we get invitations to perform, and sometimes 2-3 invitations same day. We are not able to honor every one of them. So if we had other palm wine bands, a lot of them, they could also honor some of these the gigs. So yes, all female, we'll try that and see. We hope that in the next few years we will still draw the attention we are looking at, and it will not just be performances and all that, but we are looking at KwanPa being an institution, a reference when it comes to reviving or the renaissance of this palm wine music tradition. We will also be mentioned in there. So it has been good.
Thank you so much. Fast transport. Check service now, people Snapchat cross. 31st, so church. But if you want me, I'm on the 10. Now I'm telling you for track. Part-time Christian. You won't find full time. Now it's so far.